Happy Thursday, everybody. Thank you so much for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. We are back with a call-in show. This is the live call-in show from this past Sunday night, January 19th, 2025. Scotty G, of course, joins me because he's your favorite co-host. And we took a lot of calls. We recapped Marathon Weekend 2025, had many calls with thoughts on the races, but more importantly, just the fun we had down at Walt Disney World. Some great meals. Some fun experiences on the course, some fun times in the theme parks. We even had a question about going to Trader Sam's. Had nothing to do with running. So if you're not a runner, no problem at all. We just talk Disney and talk about the fun and the camaraderie that Disney trips bring to each and every one of us and how lucky we are to be a part of this whole Disney community. We really hope you enjoy the next hour of the podcast. Don't forget, today's show is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure. We're going to make it special for you, and the best part, no additional cost to you as well. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much for your support over on Patreon. $5 a month is all it takes. And for that support, you get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. Thank you so very much to everybody who already supports us. And if you don't, come over this week. We'd love to have you at patreon.com/beourguestpodcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the BOGP open line for Sunday night, January 19th, 2025. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy weekend to you. Joined here for the next hour by your friend and mine, hashtag Scotty G. We're going to be taking your calls starting in about 5 minutes. 407-413-9395. That's 407-413-9395. So grab that phone and get ready to be a part of the show. But let me throw it over to the co-host with the most, Scotty G. What's going up in the mitten this weekend, Scott? What's up?
It's a chilly one, Mike. Happy Sunday to you. It's chilly everywhere, though, right?
Oh, my God.
Smokes.
That's not chilly, dude. It is cold.
It is just straight up cold. And I was outside a little bit. I think I told you in the pre-show, like unloading like a trailer of stuff that my in-laws dropped off. Like, whew, man, it was chilly to be outside. Yeah, I'm excited for our live show. Missed you last Sunday. I know we're really heavy on the running on Friday, and not necessarily everyone's favorite topic if you don't do the running, but like I'm glad everyone got to listen to that. I really enjoyed hearing your stories of Marathon Sunday, which is where you were last Sunday, where we did not record. So happy to be with you again tonight, and happy to hear some more marathon stories if anyone has any.
Yeah, tonight we're going to be, taking your calls at 407-413-9395. So if you want to talk about your experience at Marathon Weekend, we're more than happy to share your victories, your resort stays, a great meal that you had, because even if you're not a runner, we love to hear about your Walt Disney World stays. A lot of folks are headed to Disneyland here in a couple of weeks. What are you looking forward to out there? And I'm just telling you, I know a lot of folks getting back from Disney cruises. Scott and I were just talking cruising. We're talking aft balconies. We're talking how much time you actually spend on a veranda during a cruise. We're having that debate off air before we started. So whatever you want to talk about, let's do that here over the next hour and all that. But Scott, topics of the day. So we got some announcements this week. They announced some of the floats for that new parade coming to Walt Disney World this summer. That's good, to the Magic Kingdom this summer. That's going to be cool. I was also seeing how aggressively they're taking, all the track is gone at Big Thunder Mountain. Can you believe that? That's crazy, man. They're really going to town on that thing.
Really going to town, but isn't like the time frame like still like super long?
Yeah, 2026. So I don't. It's crazy.
Well, they get something done before then. Maybe like because they're acting like I don't know. Like I thought like this is the opposite of like Tron, building Tron. I mean, they are just like hauling that track out of there quickly. Yeah, I found that. I've been finding that really interesting. And I've always said like Walt Disney World has one of the weaker Big Thunder Mountain railroads, which is like one of my favorite attractions. So I'm very excited to see what kind of updates they do. See if it's similar to the Disneyland version out in Anaheim.
I agree. And it is because usually they drag, right, on repairing things
Yes,
and updating.
that's what's
I,
surprising about it.
I
Yeah.
don't know, like, did like, are they getting paid like, if you get this done early, you get so much per day bonus? Because all of a sudden, dude, I mean, it's like lightning speed for Disney. So we'll see. And Glim on YouTube is winning the coldness battle right now, 8 below and feels like 24 below. So yes, you are winning the cold battle. All right, we have a first call of the night. Hey, who's joining us? Thanks for calling in.
Hey, Mike and Scotty, this is Ian.
Ian, hey, my dad will be passing through your wonderful Keystone State here tonight as he drives home from a tough loss in Philadelphia.
Oh, well, it's very cold here.
Yep.
It's not sub-zero yet, but it's supposed to get pretty cold. So that, I'm not a treadmill runner, so that's messing with my running plans.
See, you got to embrace the belt. Embrace the belt and all problems are solved, Ian. Embrace it. What's going on?
Embrace it. I know. One of these days.
Yeah. So congratulations to you on a wonderful marathon weekend. We got to cross paths a few times.
Yes, we did. It was nice seeing you. And you had a great marathon. I saw your finish time and you did great. So I'm very proud of you.
I dragged my carcass 26.2 miles amazingly and got there. So thank you for that. And same to you. You did awesome. I mean, but we expected that because you go out there and you run, you break off 26.2 mile, practice runs, just like, it's a Saturday. I'm just going to go run 26.2 miles for the heck of it.
I wish it was that easy. Yeah, I was riding the struggle bus in November and December, but I did get a 26-mile practice run in. You're right.
That's crazy.
And, but you know what? I felt really good on marathon day. And, I heard your post marathon show. I was just listening to it today. And you're right. Like you see those buzzards up by the water treatment plant, and then you're coming out of Animal Kingdom. It's like, Animal Kingdom is really fun, but when you come out of there, it's like, oh my gosh. So I actually met up with a pacing group. Like I didn't know them, but I just kind of like, it's a 4-hour 15 pacing group. And so I was like, why not? I'll just run with them. I ran with them for probably, 8 miles or so. And then I knew that I had a cheer squad that traveled with me. In fact, I'm going to give a shout out real quick to my friend Jessica Babbitt. And she's a Plan Disney panelist with me. And she was one of the ladies in my cheer squad. And she's always like, when you call in, you need to give me a shout out on Mike's show. Because she always listens. But I knew I was going to see them on the boardwalk. So I split off from the pacing group and I managed to finish and under my goal, which last year I ran it in 4 hours, 25 minutes. So I did beat that.
Holy smokes.
Wow.
That is a crazy time. So congratulations. Oh man.
Yeah. I was 4:19 this year. So,
whoa.
But you know what? I think it was that pacing group was, they have the Jeff Galloway Pacers, and I'm kind of like you where I don't walk. And when I met up with him, I was starting to get a little bit tired, and there were probably like 6 other runners, and he was doing about a 1 minute, 45-minute run. And then he would do 30 seconds of walking, and just knowing like, hey, I'm going to get to walk, pretty soon. It was a game changer for me.
Yeah. The pacing groups do give you some like a guidepost, even if you're not doing the official walk kind of method. But yeah, I've kind of, and the thing is like, you don't have to stay with them for 26 miles. You can like, just, mentally say, I'm just going to try to hang with them for the next, half hour, or something like that. And scoot me, like you said, like, past the water treatment plant, just to get me to the next park, something like that. But they are appreciated to be out there. And also it breaks up the monotony a lot of times just to hop in there for a little bit.
Yeah, because I was actually able to talk to him for a little bit. He had all kinds of advice about running shoes and about different marathons he had run. So it did break up the monotony of, because, when you hit that Blizzard Beach parking lot, because you and Scott too, you know what I mean? Like that's probably like the worst part. And I think I like the water treatment plant better than Blizzard Beach. But when he was like, we're going to get through this parking lot. Come on, let's go. And then he was yelling at all the people, when we were coming out, he was cheering on the people coming in. He's like, you're going to get through the parking lot. You're going to do this. So he was really motivating. And I that was one of my favorite parts of running the marathon was with that group.
So let me ask you this, just real quick on the running, and then we'll maybe get a highlight for something like more general Disney. But what did you think of the new half and full marathon courses with kind of the opposite direction? because they're doing that again for Princess for those folks that are going down next month.
Yeah.
Did you
okay,
like kind of
yeah.
going in from the
So,
left and coming out by the Contemporary?
You know, it's funny because I didn't even look at the maps ahead of time. I knew that
Me
the course
neither.
had changed, but I didn't look ahead of time. So I kind of wanted to be surprised. And there were times where I was like, oh, this is really different. I liked both mornings. And I know you already said this, but the electrical water pageant was such a nice surprise because I wasn't expecting that. And because that's one of my favorite things. Last year when I stayed at Bay Lake, I did not like hearing the electrical water pageant because it was waking me up when I was trying to go to sleep for marathon weekend. But I really liked seeing it in the morning during my runs. It was great. I agree with you. I didn't love not being able to run through World Showcase this year at the end. It was cool in the morning. Like I was like, whoa, like all of a sudden, from the marathon, like we were entering World Showcase, and that was kind of neat. But we had already gotten to do that for the 10K, and it's all blurring together. I think maybe the half. No, we didn't do that for the half, but for the 10K we did. So I would prefer running through World Showcase at the end of the marathon just because, and then they don't open Epcot until later, probably for various reasons. But I liked when they used to have the crowds in there.
Yeah. Well, Scott made this point, and he made it really well on Friday's show. And Scott, we're talking about this, or somebody made this point.
We talked about it on Friday.
Okay, yeah. Friday. Is that, you made it. Is that really, as a runner on that marathon Sunday, you deserve kind of that victory mile, that victory lap. And, for the norms, I kind of talked about this on Mike in the Midwest today too, is that it is, folks like us, that aren't like Olympic athletes, like this is as close as you're going to get to having kind of like a professional athlete experience is like when you come across like the boardwalk and then you go across that bridge and you come into the back International Gateway and there's people cheering you on and then you go into World Showcase. There's like in the big music's playing. I mean, it's like being in a movie. I mean, that's what gets you to sign up the next year. Cause it's almost like a drug.
Oh, for sure.
It's so, Scott, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, they need to bring that back. They really do.
Yeah. Yeah. You need those crowds at the end, but it is nice when you see the gospel choir and you're like, I don't know. I want to know what song you got. Cause I got We Are the Champions. And I just started like tearing up because I was like, I love that song. And it was like, I needed to hear that to like get that final verse to the finish line. And once you see like my husband and my oldest son were at the finish line and like, I cry every single time. So that's amazing. But I would love to know what song you had for the marathon gospel choir because I know they do different ones.
I stop and take a selfie with them every single race, so I have 4. And I want to say it was "Lean on Me," maybe.
Okay.
Possibly, but dude, I was delusional. I don't know, man. I was so delusional because the problem is I have my AirPods going, and so I always turn them. I do turn them off when I come around that corner and hear the gospel choir. I want to say they were singing "Lean on Me," but it could have been something. Ian, I should have. If I'd have known I was going to get asked, I'd have remembered. But I'm old. I can't remember.
Okay.
Shoot.
Next year.
Next year. No, next year. We'll see. You're killing me here. Let me get through Disneyland first. But no, I just wanted to. So, what'd you think? What was something fun though, but outside of the races for our people like shut up about the running because I know there's people out there that say that. What was something you did that was fun outside of the races last weekend?
Well, one thing, because it was my second Dopey challenge, and last year we went to California Grill, which was really nice. So this year, I have 4 ladies from the Play and Disney panel that come out and cheer for me. So they all came out, and my 2 older boys went home. So it was just the 4 ladies and I, and then my husband. And I was like, let's do a really nice dinner. And I booked for all of us the Artist Point at Wilderness Lodge where they have, it's called Storybook Dining, and they have
Dopey,
Snow White, and they had, Evil Queen, and then of course Dopey and Grumpy. And that was, for people that, I know it's not a secret, a lot of people do this, because I would say, well, I'm going to hold off on saying this for just a second, but it was just a really neat experience. And I was able to get some medal pictures. But while we were there, my friend Jessica and I were like, we have a question for Mike and Scott. She's like, you have to call in. And I want to know, what do you think the over-under is for the people at that Wilderness Lodge dining that were Dopey or with Dopey medal finishers or had done the challenge? I would say over under 50.
That night on Sunday night.
Yeah, that night. That's Sunday after marathon.
Yeah, I would say over.
How many people are in there
Yeah,
as a dopey?
I would say over 50% because that's highly cherished by dopey runners. I would say over. What do you say, Scott?
I say over for sure, like because you're booking that 60 days out.
Yeah.
You already know you're registered for the race because you booked for that 9 months before. So you're already thinking that. So I would say the number of tables that have a dopey finisher would be higher than 50% for sure.
I'm right with Scott on
Yeah,
that.
I think so. I mean, I have to say there were a lot. I saw people in the lobby ahead of time before we got seated, and they were hobbling around that lobby. So
there were probably a lot of people just like limping to the restroom in that one because like you're rehydrating, you're like really sore, like oh, but I need my picture.
They definitely were. But yeah, that was a cool experience. I really enjoyed that, and we. My favorite character, I love Dopey, and it was great getting pictures with him, but Grumpy was really, really funny. And, they can't even talk, but yeah, we asked him, we're like, are you upset that Dopey's getting all the attention because of his race? And he was like, yes, he's nodding yes. And we're like, well, maybe you need to do a race. You need to have a race named after you. What kind of race would it be? And he's pointing to the chair, and then he sits down. And we're like, oh, it's a sitting down race.
See, he's got it figured out. He said, yeah, Grumpy's rocking.
Write a letter.
He's sitting down. Yeah, he's got it figured out. Nice.
So we have to get a petition for a Grumpy race, he said.
Well, everybody says the Grumpy is, what was the one? Somebody used to do something called the Grumpy. I forgot what they called it. It was like a shirt. What was it, Scott?
I know that the year they canceled the half, we kind of called that the Grumpy.
Yeah,
because they didn't get to do the half that year. I don't know. I've always said there should be a daisy challenge with marathon weekend because if you look at any other weekend, you do the 10K and the half, and there's a challenge medal for that. But there's not a 10K and half challenge over marathon weekend because some people that's not a distance they want, right? Like a marathon is crazy, right? But you go to Wine and Dine, you do the 10K and a half, you get an extra medal, right? A challenge medal. I think there should also be a challenge medal for that over marathon weekend and call it the Daisy Challenge. But
I think a lot of people sign up for that.
That'd be a good idea.
But then, like for the dopey runners, and that's another one, right? Then you're getting 7 medals.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that because then the dopey runners would get that too. Yeah, I was thinking, why wouldn't Run Disney do that? Because really, basically, you're just selling another medal and you're making more money.
But some people would probably sign up for. Because I think some people might already do it already, right? You do the 10K and a half, and you just get the 2 medals during that weekend. But other weekends you get 3. So I don't know. Yeah. I've always thought they should have an additional challenge medal for marathon weekend.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and it was a sleepy challenge. Yeah.
There was the Run Disney survey. You could fill that out and tell them, Mike.
I will. Not that they listen to what I have to say. I just tell Pelkey. I'm like, or Riley. I'm just like, listen, here's what we should do, and they're like, yeah, whatever. Okay, who cares? Well, hey, Ian. Well, congratulations on the runs, and it was so good to see you and the family too. It was good to see everybody. Hope everybody had a good time.
My husband really enjoyed talking to you, and he had so much fun the 10K. He's like, I think next year he was texting me. I think I'm going to do the 5 and the 10. He's like, or maybe I'll do that just the half. And I was like, whoa,
oof.
Wow.
He's the bug bit. The bug bit. Yeah. Now he doesn't need the rain. He should have been standing out there in the rain before that half marathon. He changed his mind. That stunk. Yeah, that was brutal.
I hid in the merchandise tent. That was not fun.
I was out there with the people.
Wasn't any good either. Yeah. It was packed.
Yeah, I bet. I was actually.
Remember they used to have like a race retreat where they had like a little tent for people that would pay a little extra, and you could you could sit down and you have like heat. Like I never did it, but I was always jealous of those that did.
Know. They did like massaged you and stuff.
It's crazy they don't have that anymore because that's just a crazy moneymaker, right?
Know,
like
seriously.
You got Club Run Disney, why not have that back? Too?
Yeah, that used to be the bomb. I never went in, but I was always jealous. I was like, I should have bought that.
I know.
All right,
hey, I don't want to touch the phone line, but I do want to just. I heard Scott say that he was going to think about doing it again next year. So hopefully we see you, Scotty.
We're getting him out there.
Yeah, you'll see me at something. I feel like our paths will cross soon for sure. But I did miss everybody. But I loved seeing all the updates. But I definitely missed everyone. I love everyone that was down there. It was hard for me back home in Michigan, but I at least had the updates to read, so that was nice.
All right. Well, we're going to keep twisting your arm. We have we have 2 months. 2 months.
Oh
we
boy,
do.
we'll see.
Dude, the pressure. All right, Ian, you take
All
care
right.
and stay safe out there.
Great.
Embrace the treadmill. Embrace the treadmill.
The snow is falling right now. So yeah, I know. Embrace the belt. I got it.
Just for a couple months. It's Pennsylvania. It's the winter.
All right. Take care,
Take
guys.
care. Good talking to you.
See you,
Take care.
Ian.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
She's so funny. Gotta
She's funny.
embrace it.
I met her at Princess like in 2021 or 22. Can't remember which one, but 22 it would have been, not because there wasn't one in 21. So yeah.
Her whole squad was out there, and they were having a great time. I mean, it was just you've been there so many times, right? It's just like, I mean, it's so surreal though, because you're out there meeting people, and when you think about it, I mean, it doesn't feel like it, but when you think about it, really, what you're standing in the middle of a parking lot at 4:00 in the morning talking to people, like everybody's hanging out like it's a family reunion at 4:00 in the morning. 40 degrees in the middle of a parking lot, but we're having the best time in the world. All right, we have our next call. Hey, who's joining us?
Hi, this is Ashley from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Oh, Ashley from up Scotty G's way. We're actually.
I'm not really Ann Arbor.
Well, hey,
though,
you may have connections that way though. Soon,
I'll say the rivalry ensues. We had a rough year this year for the blue and gold, but we'll step it up and
you did
try it
beat
again.
your last 2 games. You beat Ohio State and Alabama, so I'd say that's pretty good, though.
Yeah, I would say it's
trending
up.
As long as we beat Ohio, we consider that is a prime season. So
I agree with that. But hey, I have my daughter actually submitted an application recently for U of M, and she actually referenced the BRS podcast in her essay, which is kind of funny. So we'll see what happens there, but that'll be a tough one for me to swallow if she wants to go to Michigan. But obviously, I'll support that.
That's a good dad right there.
I almost took a job at Michigan State, being a diehard blue and gold fan. So
all right, there you go.
We get that. So
what I'm hearing here is you guys don't take your rivalries as serious enough, because there is no way my daughter is ever going to go to Kansas or over my dead body. No way. Is that, I don't care, full scholarship, if they give her 100% more money. No, it didn't happen.
Well, Michigan State is not really considered Michigan's rival, sadly, though, but it's not the same level as Ohio State.
I guess. Yeah, it's that love triangle thing.
Absolutely. It is definitely a different level. It's always in the Michigan versus Michigan State game, definitely, but Michigan State will always be my number 2 team that I root for.
Because we had that joint connection
Michigan,
of hating Ohio.
They're they're my next favorite.
I love it. So we're not college football open line tonight. So what's on your mind?
Yes, exactly. So I just had a quick question. For a trip that we're taking around spring break, we're celebrating an anniversary. My husband and I, the grandparents will have the kids for a night. And what I'm trying to do is we're trying to do Trader Sam's after dinner. So I'm wondering, I know we have to put in our name kind of that same day, but is it just when they call you have to go, or can you kind of ask for a time? I'm trying to get dinner over Contemporary first and then be able to come back like drinks after.
Totally a Scotty G question.
All right. Well, I have not done this in quite a while, but yeah, so you definitely want to get your name on the list. And I don't think you have to be there like immediately. And I'm hoping the chat might be able to help a little bit. I think you have like a little wiggle room once you get that text. But when you get your name in, Ashley, they will kind of give you like an ETA sort of deal, right? So, and I want to say that starts pretty early, Mike. Am I right? Like 3:00?
I think it's 3 or 4. I think maybe you can put your name on the list at 3 and maybe it opens at 4. I think it's something like that. I think that's how it works. Ish.
So what time do you have the dinner planned already? Or do you not have a reservation yet?
Well,
because it's spring break, so you probably don't have it reserved yet.
I don't have the reservation yet, but I was thinking it was going to be earlier at like 5.
Okay.
But if I put my name right in at 3, we'll be staying at the Poly, so I mean we'll be right there that day. So I'm just trying to think of.
Because that one's always tricky, right? Because you don't want to sit around waiting a long time doing nothing, but then you don't want to miss it if you're having a nice meal at California Grill or whatever it might be, right? That's tricky. And our friend Anthony, good friend of the show, he's saying 10 to 15 minutes once you get called back. So you might have to hurry if you got that message and you just got your meal, served to the table. That
exactly.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like one of those situations where you probably want to hang out like a Tambu Lounge or something and go down, to Trader Sam's, because you're not going to obviously make it from California Grill at that point. And I would trust Anthony because in his little Facebook picture, he's definitely, it looks like he's standing at the Polynesian in that picture.
Well, that's him and Alani, actually.
Or Alani. I was going to say he's definitely in Polynesian gear in that picture.
Yeah.
So
Anthony is on the Alani bandwagon with me. But so what I would probably do, Ashley, is like, because you're staying at the Polynesian already, like I'd almost put my name in later. Well, I mean, it depends on if the in-laws or the grandparents are going to have your kid like all night, but maybe like have dinner kind of early-ish, then get your name in and kind of like do what Mike said, like hang out a little bit, and then wait later. That's kind of what I would do, but it's a tough situation for sure.
In the area. Okay.
And we're also getting feedback that
it's spring break too. So I feel like that
of
line's going to be long. Spring break time, like there's probably going to be a lot of like the crowds will be a little bit heavier, I would say too. You got more people kind of staying at the Polynesian, so
it's going to be a
maybe getting
Sunday,
on there earlier, or you could always ask like, what's the wait time?
And we're also getting feedback saying that, a lot of times the line will start forming between 1 and 2 busy times. So just like initially that first line will start getting there because it is popular, and that the host or hostess will give you an estimated time of a call depending on where you are in the line. So you can kind of have a good idea.
Got it. All right. Well, thanks so much for your help.
Well, hey, now I need to go to Trader Sam's. I need a tiki drink. Because it's cold.
Right?
That sounds so good right about now. Well, hey, have a great trip, and give us a call when you get back. Let us know how it goes.
Thank you so much. We'll do.
All right. Take care up in Michigan.
Ashley.
Stay warm.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Yep.
All right, bye-bye.
We'll try.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
So here's a tough situation for me. I love the option of the walk-up, right? So you don't need a reservation, right? You can commit by getting there early, getting your name on the list. But dang, do I like at Disneyland that you can actually book
Make
it
a
like at 60
reservation.
days. I mean, it's a hard one to get, but like
But you're set.
you're set, and like I like that one so much better. That's why I've been to the Walt Disney World like 2 or 3 times. I love it, right? I love the atmosphere, I love the mugs, I love the drinks. I've been outside more than inside, but like I just love that Disneyland one. Oh man, it is the best. I love that you can get an ADR for it.
I've never been in the one at Disneyland.
Well,
I've been outside. I've been outside, but I've never been inside. So maybe I'll have to do that.
I mean, the outside vibe is really good too. There's usually like a ukulele play or like some live music happening too. Like
I've fallen asleep in that chair out there, those big chairs out there by the
Right?
Disneyland Hotel, because I'm staying at the Disneyland Hotel and I'm just exhausted. All right, we have our next call. Hey, who's joining us?
Hey, this is Chris from Flower Mound, Texas. How are you guys?
Hey, Chris, are you going to be getting hit by the big snowstorm Enzo that's heading your way here this soon?
I don't think so. I think we're far enough north we'll miss it.
That's crazy. Yeah, that you're north of the big snowstorm that's going through Texas.
Yeah.
There's something messed up about that. And there's something messed up about a snowstorm named Enzo that's hitting the south. It should be named like Bubba. Enzo should be hitting like New Jersey or something. It totally throws me off, but that's neither here nor there. So what's going on?
Hey, it's really cool. You guys were just talking about Trader Sam's at Disneyland. I'm running the half marathon in a couple of weeks, and we got reservations for the 9:20 at Trader Sam's. Was the best I could do.
The best you can do, but at least you're in.
Sounds like you're doing
That's
just
right.
fine to me. Yeah.
So this is my first run Disney race. So I had a question. I got a buddy running with me, and we just want to go out there and have just a great time. Finish so we can get into the parks and hang out. But I know I've heard that the lines to get pictures with characters can get long. Like, how many characters do they have on the course? Is it like 10 to 15, or you looking at like 50 and spending an hour taking pictures?
Trying to think.
So I think at Disneyland is like, I think it's less at Disneyland than at World, to be honest. So you'll see some like in the parks, like early on, during the half, but then like once you get like outside of like the theme parks, like in your like the city streets of Anaheim, you're not going to see any characters. So it's all going to be kind of like early on in the race, maybe like Actually, I don't even think you see one at the end because you really don't come back through the parks
You
near
don't.
the end. So Chris, it would just be kind of early on, and I think you're going to see like there might be like 6 to 10 at most. I think, and I could be wrong, but
Oh,
that's
okay.
like based on like my past experiences. I think that's what they would have.
Cool. Thanks. That's very helpful.
What you're going to see, like in the later stages of the race, is because what happens is Scott's exactly right. Like you'll run through the parks early, and then they send you out into Anaheim, and you're on the city streets, and you're on some crazy streets, like kind of back streets, even
Not crazy,
not
like
crazy.
don't scare
No,
Chris. Like,
not crazy streets, but like you're just on like, I mean, just you're running
You're just
through
like
Anaheim. You're
like
not
running in your own town,
yeah,
you
it's like
know?
running through your own town. It's not like you're running through Walt Disney World, and yeah, crazy is a bad word, but you will see like they've had like classic cars. Like if you're into that, you can stop and get your picture like next to maybe like a 65 Camaro or something if that's your jam. That's pretty cool.
Oh,
Like
nice.
They'll have
like local bands.
yeah
will be
high
playing,
school
like,
high school bands,
high school bands,
Yeah,
even
they
like
rock.
like my cover band or whatever would be out there too. Like they have like some classic rock bands
Yeah,
out there
yeah.
sometimes, like jamming and stuff. Yeah.
So there's entertainment along the way, but it's not necessarily going to be like Mickey Mouse or Goofy or something like that. Like, so if you really are looking for that, definitely stop early because you don't count on
Because
like
once
you get outside
once
the
you leave the
parks.
parks, you're not going to see it again, basically during the race. I mean, you can always go in the parks afterwards, right, and get character photos with the
Yes.
medals and things.
Yes.
But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And also
Good.
Caitlin over on the Instagram says there aren't as many characters out during the Disneyland half. I'd say 10, but nothing compared to World. So yeah, probably
that's kind of what I was
probably
thinking.
about
I was
10,
thinking like
yeah.
6 to 10.
Yeah. So probably there. Yep.
Cool.
And I will say the lines do kind of get long for them, but it moves by pretty quick.
Yeah,
Like
real fast.
there's usually like 3 cast members kind of handling the situation, even with like the photo pass person too. So like a cast member will take your phone if you want that. Then there'll be another cast member like queuing up the next person. They hop in there, they take a picture, bam, they go, move on to the next one. So it does go pretty quick, even if Mickey has to take a break in quotes, for a second. Like that's usually like a pretty quick break too. So like it does. So the line might look long sometimes, but it does move relatively quick, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and the way it works is like they don't have to scan anybody's magic band or anything like that because they just automatically link it to your bib number. So they just, as soon as they take your picture, you're out of there. Like, so they just, boom, you stand there, take a picture, gone. Next person, boom, stand there. So they just move people. I mean, it's just like, it's like 10-second mug shots. It's fast.
But then they will cut off the line too if they know like it's getting near like
Yeah,
a cutoff
sweeping
point
time.
in the race or
Yep.
something. So they won't let you in the line and have you get swept, basically, if that's
No.
something you're worried about.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, hey,
Well, cool. Thanks, guys.
look
Appreciate
for
all the
us.
info.
We'll have on those BOGP lizard shirts, the kind of Volt kind of green color. So give us a yell if you see us out there, and we'll wish you luck on that first race.
Thanks. Actually, a funny story. The trip you all took in 2022,
Yeah.
we were behind you in line on July 4th to get into Disneyland Park.
No way.
Oh, get out!
That was my first time to Disneyland, dude. I was like the biggest 12-year-old in the history of the world on that trip. Oh my God, that was life-changing that day. Oh, that's when
Yeah,
I
it was a
fell in love with
blast.
Disneyland. Oh, I love Disneyland.
That was a good day.
That was the best day.
July 4th at Disneyland Park. That's a good day.
Oh, that was the best. I love Disneyland so much. I can't wait to get back.
Well, thanks, guys. I'll let you get to the next caller. Appreciate the time.
Hey, I'll see you out at Disneyland.
Awesome.
All right, take care. See you out there.
12 days.
Hey,
See you-
Chris.
Yeah, no, hey, 9 for me. All right, see you there. Bye.
I hope we didn't say anything embarrassing in front of Chris.
I know, seriously, dude.
Disneyland.
I know, dude, that's scary. I know when people say that. Oh, by the way, that reminds me. I got to send a shout out too. So I got to send a shout out to listener Terry Small. Terry Small, listen to this story. So today I'm recording Mike in the Midwest, right? This morning. I always do it on Sunday mornings. My dad calls always, dude, when I'm on the air all the time. But he said he's like in the booth at the Rams Eagles game, right? I didn't even know what time the game started, but I'm like, how's he calling like from Philadelphia? He's in the booth waiting for the game to start. He's like, I got to tell you. So I didn't answer because I'm recording Mike in the Midwest. As soon as I finish, I call him back. He's like, I had to tell you this. There's a guy in the booth in Philadelphia. He's a listener of your show. I'm like, shut up. He's like, yeah.
You know your dad loves that.
I
too,
know, but
right?
he's like, what's your name? And my dad's like, Dodie Rallman. He's like, oh my gosh, is your son Mike Rallman? He's like, yeah. He's like, I listen to his podcast. So I got to give Terry Small, I guess he's a radio guy for, I don't know, the Eagles. He works in Philadelphia, I guess. You rock, Terry, because you made my dad's day. So shout out and congratulations to your Eagles, and fly
Makes
Eagles
your day
fly.
too. Like,
Oh, my, totally
like
made my day 100%. But
it's
I
gotta
mean,
make your dad proud though, because like he I just him
oh
being in
yeah.
the radio business all the time is kind of like a radio show. Like, and like the fact that like you hit so many listeners, like, and I know he realizes like your reach, but like it's
Yeah.
gotta be pretty awesome.
Oh,
for
dude,
him.
I totally blew my, yeah. It made me so happy because it made my dad happy, right? When somebody like told my dad that, because my dad, I still think he thinks I just sit here and talk in the basement. I mean, but he knows people listen because he sees it on social media. He has to
Right.
see it. But like when somebody in person was like, because I mean, my dad's there with like the Los Angeles Rams, right? He's like there with an NFL team. But somebody's like, I'll listen to your son's podcast. Like it's a Disney. I mean, get real, dude. It's a Disney
That's the
podcast.
best.
So Terry, you're the bomb. Thanks for listening to the
Yo,
show.
shout out to the podcast. Like you shared something awesome over the weekend. Like on one of those ranking sites for Disney podcasts, #1.
Hey,
Congratulations,
that's
Mike.
our
Look at
list.
what you built.
That's not us. That's our listeners always downloading the show, spreading the love, and thank you. Yeah, Feedster, I think it was called. And they sent me an email, said check it out. I said, hey, whoa, thank you. And yeah, we're going to always have the shows out there, do our best that we can. And we just like to talk about what's going on and to share honest opinions, races, dining experiences, cruises, all that stuff. But it's our listeners. We have the best. I mean, it's great. The Clubhouse has added a lot in 2024, I thought. It's really added a lot of sense of community over there. We have fun over there.
I know you
do a
tried
lot
it
of
like
that.
in 22 or 23, and
20.
it had some big weeks, and it kind of just like slowed down. But like I think there's good positive energy for the most part going on in there, and yeah, really really good stuff.
Yeah, Trisha, Dennis, like they like really were like in 2020 kind of, they were the only folks over there. There was like a group of like 10, and then it kind of reached critical mass, I think, in 2024, where it's like
For sure.
there's enough energy there that people are, posting.
It's to the point because like it's international too, where like
Yeah.
I never like silent my phone before I go to bed because like I could get like work calls and stuff, but like I kind of to the point where I do now because like it'll just be like
Yeah, Ian,
it's
Mohawk,
so crazy.
Mohawk, Ian, everybody.
Well, it's just
Simon,
even like
I know, because
it's just even like after a football game, like at midnight, like even like I had to like turn it off last night. I'm just saying, I could not.
Well,
I had to turn it off during the game because I watched on delay.
Yeah,
But
I know. It's one of those things like, when because my phone does get the update too. Cause like even when I'm listening to like music or something, I go boop, 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 boop. And like my wife's like, what happened? Did something bad? She's always like, either something bad happened at Disney or there's something big in sports happening. Cause she knows that. That's what I always tell her. It's like, we have a sports channel and it's something Disney related. So she cracks up.
Yeah, Liz will just, because it just like buzzes, we're trying to go to bed and she's like, why is your phone buzzing? And I'm like, I don't know.
Mine goes on do not disturb at 10, so I don't hear it after that. Okay. Next caller is on the line, and shout out to Michelle, who covers for my guests many times. She is tuned in over on Instagram. But hey, who's joining us on the phone right now?
It's one of those annoying UK folks who wake you up in the morning on Discord. It's Simon in the UK. What's up,
Simon, the coolest looking runner in the history of Run Disney. Dude, you have the best pictures. You don't take a bad shot, but I mean, you're a professional, so we don't expect anything different. What's up?
But
Good morning to you, Simon.
I could be dying coming around that corner, man. I see a camera. It's game face.
Hey, it's a skill, dude. I'm telling you, only experienced runners understand that. Like the rookies, I will say though, Kim totally got me. I was at the marathon when she was at Animal Kingdom. Yes, it was, because I went into that bathroom right before where she was at Everest. I came flying out of that bathroom and she was right there. Now, fortunately, I got to kind of do a redo and she got a couple good shots. But I was, again, I have that flip belt that's on my waist and I was like getting everything ready to go, get running again. And she's like, right there, Mike. And I'm like, oh no. So yeah, but professionals know you got to be looking for those green little mini tent things and lights.
Well, you start the conversation on photos. I've got to give a massive shout out to Jody in Ohio, because she reached out and helped me get my photos, because I just wasn't prepared at all in any way for Run Disney. I'd done no training. I was underprepared in every way. And then the night before, I was sat there and I'm seeing all these cool photos coming in on the Discord of people running. And I'm like, oh man, I don't have Memory Maker on my package. And
I think last time it was just all automatic from my bib, but I'm not sure if I have to do something to set it up. So I reached out on the Lizards page on Facebook and got some good advice. And then that morning in the corral, Jodie's like, right, come running over. I need a bib number. I'm going to get you photos. And then between her and I think it's Rick, yeah, they hooked me up, man. So I wouldn't even have those photos if it wasn't for them. So shout out to them and the Lizards for helping me out with that one.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And I got to say, double shout out to Jody and her husband, Tim. Dude, they brought in, who did they bring? Caleb. They brought Caleb in on the marathon. He's perfect dopey. He was, he went out a little hard apparently on the half marathon the day before. And I think the 10K too, because he was bringing in George on a PR and, you pay the price eventually. And I think he was paying the price on Sunday and he like burned his legs and like got too cold and he was in a medical tent and, I think he was going to wave the white flag, but apparently Jody mommed up and said, "Get off your butt and let's go and finish this sucker." And I mean, so she was like saving people left and right all weekend. So shout out to the Bennings.
and not to diss on Caleb, but it was George bringing Caleb in on the 10K because George is like lightning fast.
Oh, it's George. Okay, I got it backwards. I knew there was
George
a PR
got him the PR though.
Yeah. Okay, I knew somebody got a PR, dude. I wasn't close. I was behind him. So
it was Caleb on both. Caleb got PR on both, actually.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so there. Yeah, right. And then okay, that makes more sense because I shared my split times at the outer rim. And everybody had a good joke because of my one split time, and that'll be a story I'll have to share off the air because it's funny, but I can't share it on the air. Okay, go ahead, Simon. Go ahead. So, what was your highlight of the weekend?
Well, there's just so many to choose from, but I think I'm gonna have to tell the whole world about our intimate moment, Mike.
You did help me remove my trousers, as they would say over in Britain. Which I wasn't going to share that either, but yes, you did. But they were fortunately they were throwaway trousers. It was cold.
It was wet. We were struggling. we had to just get the job done, you know.
Yes. Stop. Yes, it happened.
Yeah. I was going to go full on like presenter mode and tell the story in this voice. It was a cold, wet morning in Epcot car park.
Yes. It was.
For another show.
Yes, 100%.
I just wanted to say just like what a fantastic just trip that we had. And there were so many things that actually went wrong, as you know, for us. Like Susie flew out and like the suitcase with all my running gear didn't turn up. And we were worried like I was going to have nothing. And then it turned up like a day or two just before the race. So there was all of that. And then I got caught up in the whole bib fiasco where some of the timing chips weren't working right. So I had to go back and get my timing chip changed. Well, they just stuck another one on the bib. And it was a really quick process. And I will say, shout out to Disney for that, because something went wrong. They sort of acknowledged the problem, I guess, as quickly as they could. And man, they were turning that around and getting people fixed up in no time. So although it was like a mild inconvenience to have to go out to ESPN again, it really didn't take much time and didn't impact too much on it. But the overall, it's been a long time since I did a Run Disney, 2019. To come back and do a half marathon again and just get to see all you guys and the Lizards, the whole atmosphere was just fantastic. Like the positivity from everybody, just like, with Jody and all of the guys, it was amazing. But I will say, like a post-running thing, I took inspiration from the photos you were posting on Facebook, like you were dropping in the parks and things like that. And I went to Pinocchio's and I got myself one of those chicken palm sub rolls. Man, dude, that thing was,
it was good. I know,
great.
it rocked. That thing was really solid. I mean, that was really good.
And well, because we always eat in Pinocchio's because the kids love pizza and they love to sit and watch Small World go by. It's just like one of those places we always go to at some point. And when I saw that you were there, and I sort of looked on the plate, I was like, wait, I know that menu inside out, and I've never seen that before. Like, what the hell is that thing? That was great. And yeah, that day was the day that I ran the half, and we did the early morning, the 2:30 alarm, and as you know, we were driving in, and I'd be interested to hear how other people got on when they were driving in by car, right? Because I remember saying to you, I thought I'd left loads of time, and the I-4 and whatever else was pretty clear. But it took us a good sort of 40 minutes to get from the gate of Epcot to get parked and to be trying to walk through security. Because it was, I remember saying there was a moment where I thought, am I going to be too late, or am I going to sort of miss something quite important here? So, yeah, it'll be interesting to hear if that was like just me or if other people driving in found that difficult. I know you did everything by bus, right?
Yeah, I've never driven because Disney transportation, that is one thing. I always trust Disney transportation for races because they're going to take you right where you need to go and they can go around all the cars. Now, Scott, you always rent a car, but you rarely drive to the races. Have you, though?
I've never driven to a race. I think I'm actually, hold on. I think I've done it like once or twice, like in a pinch, because I might have like slept in a little bit. But yeah, I always take the bus because even though we've heard like some horror stories about the buses, like taking wrong turns, going to the Hollywood Studios on Marathon Sunday once.
Well, there's one time Phil had to run.
Yeah,
yeah.
But they'll hold the race if it's like one of their issues, which like ideally none of us really want to happen, but they will make sure you start if you're on a Disney bus. So
yeah, I didn't have the option because we were staying actually over at Universal this time. It just worked out that way. So driving in was pretty much the only option that we had. But for future, because I do plan, all being well with signups and, that the sign-up gods are on my side, I do plan on being there again in 2026. So we are thinking that next time we will stay on Disney property and just make our life a bit simpler in that respect.
It does make it so simple because you just walk out, hop on a bus, and honestly, I usually just fall asleep back on the bus until you get to Epcot and they turn on the light, wake back up, and follow the herd.
I know sometimes I want my bus to like actually take its time. So
I know. People, I'm with Scott. Like people freak out if your bus gets stuck in traffic or something or takes a little bit. But if it's super cold or the weather's bad, I just want to be on that bus as long as possible. I'd rather be on the bus.
No offense to my BR guest lizards. I love you all. I love the meetups, but like I don't mind another 10 minutes of sleep on that bus.
Same. That bus is comfy. It's heated and it's dark and it's comfy. I get it. Yeah.
But what's funny though too, like me and Mike this is like our perspective, but there'll be people that are so chatty on the bus and they are just so excited. And like I love that for them, but I'm like, dang, like I just want to sleep a little bit.
I know.
But I love it though. Like it's such a good thing. But you crushed it, Simon. Like I loved following here. I wish I could have been there. Like you were, man. Oh man, I wish I could have made it happen. So many great people were down there for Marathon Weekend, but I love those photos that Jody snapped for you. You looked like a professional runner out there having the time of your life. Like kudos to you. And looks like you had some good part time too.
Well, plus here's the other thing too. You raised a lot of money for Team in Training, which I applaud you for that. So congratulations on that as well.
Yeah, that really is probably one of the biggest highlights. That I raised just under $2,200, and it was way over what my target was set to be, and it was great just to know that you can have so much fun, do something so fun and exciting with people who are like-minded, but to have that added aspect of doing so much good as well. It's a nice feeling to take away. And then I was lucky enough again to have my family there, and at the end of the day that I ran the half marathon, we closed down Magic Kingdom with Happily Ever After, and man, I carried those two boys all the way back to the car, and I knew I'd run a half marathon at that point.
You had to pay the price. Sure. So
did Sully ride? Because I think he went to Epcot, right? Did Sully get another Guardians ride in?
He got two because he gets the parent swap because Sid's too small to ride it. Yep. So yeah, he man, he loves it. I couldn't go twice now, no way.
That's awesome.
So
you got a beautiful family, Simon.
You do
for sure.
Absolutely have a beautiful family.
Well, look, guys, I'll let someone else get in here and share their stories as well. But a pleasure to actually meet you in person, Mike. Scott, we'll look forward to meeting you down the line. Hopefully August, maybe. If not, then 2026 Dopey, baby.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
He's got to get signed up. Simon, it was great meeting you, buddy, and we'll see you soon. Thank you for the memories, man.
Simon says, right? So I got to do it.
Simon says. We'll see you, buddy. Take care. And then I'll keep my trousers on. Take care.
Yeah, keep it until I get there.
All right. See you later. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
407
I forgot to ask if there's a UK holiday tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there is. I mean, we got one. I mean, we're winning. We're winning. Yeah, we're winning. So there you go. All right, we have our next call on the line from 770. I think it's down in Georgia. Hey, who's joining us?
Hey, Mike, it's Caleb from Georgia. How are you, man?
Yeah, what's up? See, now I gave away your PR. You're probably mad at me. I'm sorry.
I know,
dude,
we took his thunder away from him.
I gave it to George. My bad, dude. He's got the good hair, and I gave him your PR too. So what's up?
Yeah, well, obviously you don't have enough time left in the show for me to explain that weekend, but highlights were PR in the 10K and the half. That was great.
Oops, wrong button.
Being a W veteran, that's the last time I do that. It's stupid because I mean none of those runs, they all matter, but nothing matters until mile 18 of the marathon. So it was stupid, but the body felt good and I wanted to do it, so I did it. But the entire weekend, it's like Run Disney. It's like they forgot what they were doing as far as like the expo and as far as the timing chips and all that business. It was a zoo. It was crazy. Like Jody was, she was cool enough. She got us a number one boarding or expo corral. So that's the first time I've ever had that. You walk in there like a royalty, so all that was cool. And I was probably the 60th, maybe 70th person in there, and it was like Mad Max in the Thunderdome, man. It was crazy. People were like, all the stuff you hear about, it was legit. I mean, I saw people shoving each other, people with handfuls of jackets and shirts and whatnot. And I was just in there trying to get me a jacket and Troy Ferguson and then some jackets, and it was a zoo. So made it out of there alive. That was all fine. The weekend was great. You know, the time of the lizards over the weekend was fantastic. They're second to none. I mean, I saw you a bunch, saw everybody. I mean, it was just such a good time. And the runs were fine. The runs went really well, except just it was so cold, man. I mean, I'm from Georgia, so that was cold for us. And 43 degrees in Orlando is cold. Totally different than 43 degrees here because the wind was blowing. It sucked. I was not about it. And I guess maybe that's for me. That's why I went fast on the first three runs is because I was just trying to get back to the bus and get back to the resort.
That was my philosophy on that too, dude. I just wanted I wanted to be the first one on the bus every morning. Not the first one on the bus. I wanted to be on the first bus. Like when those buses were rolling, I wanted to be on that one. Like I wanted to be back home. It was cold. It was freezing.
It was bananas. And then like I say, going back to the expo, go get our bibs. And one of mine has an A on it, which I've never had. That was awesome. The other one had an F on it, and I've never that like the math wasn't mathing there.
Yeah, that's
because
a split.
I mean F is fine, but I normally don't have an F career. I'm usually like a C or a D for the half and the full. So that was a whole thing. I made it work. It was fine. That's neither here nor there. I made it work, but it was just. And the lady at Runner Relations for Run Disney, she was real happy about life when I got to her. She was missing that magic for sure. So anyways, all that aside, yes, we get to marathon day and we're running. And at mile 7, Mother Nature was like, man, look, we got to make a call. And I had to duck into a porta potty, which is terrible. Went in there, made it best position I could, got out of the wind for a little while. And then I go to leave and start running. I'm about a mile and a half away from the porta potty. I left my flipping gloves in the porta potty. So my fingers are toast. We get into Magic Kingdom. I start running with the 5 and then 5:15 pace group, and I was doing good through Magic Kingdom. And we got out, and I was just deflated with all of it. I was like, you know what? This has been a fun ride. I'm 43 now. I'm old. I'm older, I should say. I'm done with it. So I made a call. I started calling my fiance. I wanted her input, and then about that time, George called up to me, and he said, "Hey, how's it going, man?" I said, "Well, buddy," I said, "I think I'm gonna quit." He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like I'm done running. I'm done with it. And he was like, "Man, I can't really give you that information." He said, "That's all on you." He's like, "I'm not going to tell you yes or no." He said, "But you do what you feel like is best for you. Send me a text later." So I ran a little bit more. And then once I got to mile 13, I said, "That's my Shangri-La. I'm toast. I'm done." So I ducked in, told the medics. They said, "Hey, is everything okay with you?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm just tired and I don't want to do this anymore." They're like, "But you're perfect." I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm just going to duck in." They said, "Okay, well, it'll be a couple hours before the bus comes." So I went, sat down, and I gave Jody and Tim a text. I was like, "Hey, guys, y'all get looking for me. Here's where I'm at." And I immediately got a text back from Tim. He was like, where are you? And I told him, he said, sit tight. We're 25 minutes from you. Don't move. And
you're like, that's my plan for the next
That's
2
my plan.
hours.
Yeah. That's the thing. I was like, they have warm blankets in there. I was like, this is the jam. So I sat there, and then Bigger Than Crap, right on cue, they all showed up. And Tim said, hey, buddy. I said, yeah. He said, you good? I was like, yeah, I'm living my best life. He said, good. Get your butt up. He didn't say, buddy. He said, get your butt up. We got to go finish the marathon. I was like, no, man, I'm good. This is it. I got a warm bus coming. He said, no, it don't work like that. Come on. He said, you're perfect. He said, you ain't going to lose it on, not today. So we got up, got to run in a little bit. I was stiff, man. I couldn't get anything like my extremities were hurting. We got about a half-mile walk, and then all of a sudden I felt good. Jody had wrapped me up like a gordita, Taco Bell gordita. She had swaddled me with the Mylar blankets. I was wrapped up head to toe, and we put the pedal to the metal, and that was it. Then got to body started feeling good, and we got to Animal Kingdom, rode Everest, and the whole 9 yards. So wonderful weekend with everybody, man. Other than me almost wanting to quit, I'm glad I didn't. Thinking back on it, I would have been extremely disappointed. But now, on top of that, dealing with the chip issues all weekend, now I'm having to email Run Disney just to make sure that they do have my 5K in there so that come April, I get my email for my perfect stuff because I don't want to be left out. That's a whole mess. But that aside, the weekend was great. Spending time with all y'all was fantastic, and already looking forward to 2026, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
So a couple things. First of all, I can't believe you tempted fate by getting on Everest after all that. I mean, come on now. Like, seriously, you rode Everest? Like, I am not.
I didn't have the choice.
Because they all wanted to do it. So
the Demons were like, yeah, this is what we do. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, we're going to ride this.
Dude.
I rode it. It was fun.
I'm just saying you are totally tempting fate like the 7th time of the day when you do that. Anyway.
Sure.
Sure. So did you just not dress warm?
My legs were done, but whatever. These people went above and beyond to pull me through this run. They would have told me to go drink a cup of mud. I would have done it. I mean, it was, know what I mean? It was whatever y'all need. I got you, boss. So.
And that's the thing is like, it's hard to describe till like you experience like what our group does for each other, because we talk about it a lot here on the show and we talk about it on the Discord and stuff, but it is more than a community. It's a family. Like people pick each other up in so many ways. I mean, we help each other sign up for races, and that's extremely hard. And, if people need, something from the expo, people go out of the way to get it from the expo. I have the sweatshirt because somebody got it for me. There's no way I could have got it. I was in the airplane. But I mean, it's more than that. I mean, they came and got you out of the medical tent because you're a perfect dopey and dragged your butt for 50 miles and kept your status alive. Because like you just said, you would have regretted that Sunday night right now as we're recording, but you're still perfect right now because somebody cared enough to drag you through the rest of that race.
Well, then, of course, the last half mile, I was just emotional. That whole weekend for me was just emotional. I think I cried more this weekend than any time. I mean, and it's nothing was wrong, man. I was just because everybody's so helpful and just there for you, and it's good. It's like having an extended family there. It's so awesome. So. We crossed the finish line. I was just boo-hooing. I was like, oh, man, I got to wear these sunglasses. Nobody sees me doing this. This is embarrassing. But nonetheless, we got it done. And this year, I actually didn't have to get my butt stomped on the golf course by Scotty G. Because if he comes back next year, man, I got to do I thought I was decent at golf. No, I'm not. No, this guy right here, he's no games. So
yeah, I was going to actually bring that up. Like I'm in all of this, and you still didn't play golf, though. So, like, I definitely missed that this year. But seriously, Jody shared your story with me like on I call it Marathon Monday, the day after. And
sure.
I was just really like, I was so proud of you. Like I saw your PRs throughout the week, and like I didn't realize that story happened on Sunday until the next day. And I just want to say, like, you are awesome. You're perfectly dopely. So congratulations on that again. And I think you're gonna do it again next year, right? I think that's the plan, right?
Yeah, I mean, Lord willing, the creek don't rise, and I don't waste all my money on like lottery tickets or something. Yeah, I will. I'll be there. I'll be there, barring something.
Just don't waste the money on the golf lessons. Don't waste the money on the golf lessons and do doping instead.
Apparently, I need them playing against you. My God, yeah, you're right. Anyways, yeah, guys, I'll be there. And hopefully y'all will be there too. So we'll do it again.
I love what we have with our team. I mean, it is. I mean, because the thing is, we have like everybody. Like we have people that are just so fast. We have people that are so pro at this whole running thing, and then we have just kind of average runners. We have beginning runners, But what we have is just people that every person, no matter how good they are at running or like very first timers getting out there, everybody cares about each other. And there's no egos for anybody. That's the whole thing. Like we have people that just fly. I mean, and but they love on you just like there's no pretense. They'll care about you. They'll stop for you, even though they're running it like a 5-minute mile. It's I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it.
And building on that too, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but on 10K day with George, I was humping. I was doing the best I could do, and I think I clicked off at one point. I saw like an 8:45 or something. I was like, "Well, I'm about to do this for a living. This is awesome." And George was like, "Well, come on, we'll run it in." The last half, I think he did like a 7:15 or a 7:30. I thought my legs were going to come out underneath my body. I was like, "How do you do this?" He was like, "Oh, I'm just cruising, man." I was like, "Oh my, give me a break, man. You know how much talent that is? That's crazy." Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
No, here, like when you're going at like at 8:45 or something, you're hearing like the cartoon leg sounds like. You're like somebody's about to get hurt because I'm about to end up at Crescent Lake because I can't stop.
I'm over there trying to get oxygen, and George is like, "Yeah, you want to have a conversation?" No, I don't have a conversation.
Are you kidding me? I can only hold this for 5 seconds.
That's right. So, anyways, well, hey, I'm not going to take everybody else's time, but I just wanted to comment on that. It was a wonderful weekend. Still no jackets for the Perfects this year. Maybe next year or something like that. Here's hoping. But I got a lunchbox and a hat, so that's better than nothing. So, anyways,
we got to fix this. It's an easy solution, but let me just say, I'm proud that you're on our team and proud to call you a teammate, but more importantly, proud to call you a friend.
Thanks, guys. Y'all as well. Hope to talk to y'all soon. Have a wonderful week.
All right, you too, man. You stay safe down there in that big storm that's coming your way. Enzo's coming your way.
Hey, I love it, man. We're fixing to be off work for 2 or 3 days. We're not driving Georgia when it snows. I love it. Heck yeah.
You're going to be off for a month.
PTO!
All right, see you, Caleb. Take care, buddy.
Awesome.
I'm proud of you. Take care.
See
y'all later. See you, Scotty. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
See you, Caleb. That's funny. That's a good way to wrap up the show. Great motivational story, and it just shows what the Be Our Guest podcast community is all about, as you like to say. Mike.
Yeah, that calls it. I mean, that is perfectly said. I mean, it's just he's perfect dopey. I mean, think about that. 48.6 miles. He's done that 12 consecutive years.
Yeah.
Every time.
And it's fun. It's fun having someone bring you in. It's fun taking someone in. Like I'm a solo runner like you, Mike, and like I think I've only finished one marathon by myself. Like it just always happens. You find a friend on the course and you just you start like either slowing down or speeding up, however it may work. Like you just kind of find a middle ground with that person and you just take it home with them, man. And it's what it's all about for me.
And even when you're by yourself, like you said, even if you're running by yourself, you will see people out on the course that are cheering you on. Like I saw Beth right there at the International Gateway, Jason and Veronica.
We got our
there
cheer squad.
Cheer squad.
We have our on-course cheer squad too. Like,
yeah.
Shout out to Emily, man. Jersey Emily. Like she is always like shouting everyone. She knows everybody too. Like I just love it.
I mean, the whole squad was there, the boardwalk. And I mean, they're spread out all around. Bankhead was over at the TTC, which again, wasn't at mile. It messed me up because it wasn't at mile 4 this time. It was at like mile 13. Like it totally messed me up on like my head. Cause like I remember Mike saying, "Oh yeah, I'll be at the TTC." So I was thinking, okay, cool. That's early. That's like 4. And then I'm like, wait a second. Nope, that's like mile 12 or something, because it was like you had to go all the way through the Magic Kingdom and come out and all that. I was like, yeah, that was a lot. I was like, I can see Mike for a long time. It was like mile 11 or something. But yeah, it was one of those. It is one of those things like you will not feel unsupported when you run with us, and that's the greatest feeling in the world. So it helps. But that's going to do it for us. But we're going to have great shows this week. We'll be back to kind of talking about regular Disney topics, some Disney Cruise, some Walt Disney World, some Disneyland, as a lot of us get ready to make the trip out to the West Coast. I'm excited for that. I saw a post this week, new dinner menu at Red Rose Tavern. You guys, Scott, real quick, how I am fond of that little quick service place in Disneyland. Dude, I love that place.
I don't know if they have it anymore, but they used to have like this burger, like this breakfast burger. Like with a fried egg on it. And
I've had that. Stuff. Yes, it is rocky. Oh. So, well, their new menu now has like burgers, but they're like on like quesadillas. They look with like
awesome. You'll have queso. Because I haven't like followed this news too closely because I'm afraid of what the answer is. So you can break my heart, Mike, while you're out there, but you got to confirm if the Hungry Bear statue is out front still with the change of the restaurant.
I know the chicken sandwich is gone.
I have a feeling it's
that.
going to be bad news for me because I have so many photos of Emily growing up, like doing I even got one of you and her doing it.
Yeah, same.
Like
I totally have. Yeah, I think it is gone. And the
I
chicken
know that
sandwich
makes me.
is gone
I
too.
wish I could buy it. Disney, if you're listening, can I buy it?
You gotta be looking good in your living room or something.
Or just give it to me. I
totally.
don't want to buy it.
No, yeah, and then we got the Haunted Mansion has reopened with the new bride.
yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about that next. We have one more live show before we go to Disneyland, so we could talk about that maybe next Sunday night. There's a lot to talk about we didn't get to. Man, I love Disneyland. Oh, yes.
I just love Disney. I love the podcast. I love the live shows.
Yes.
I just love the community, chatting with everyone about Disney. And this is another awesome Sunday night show.
Speaking of, before we get out of here, you are dropping a new episode of Must See Adventures right about now for everybody that's tuned in live. We have a lot of folks tuned in live, but if you're listening to the replay, boom, it's been out for like 3 days right now. So drop what's going on, Disneyland Paris?
We are going to Disneyland Paris. So yeah, so it's should be a fun episode. So I didn't have my good Pocket 3 camera. So again, this is all like on my iPhone after the trip where I bought a new camera. So it was kind of hard to record the fireworks show. And then there's like some copyright issues, right, with Disney's music. So I try to chop at it. But like the highlight for me, Mike, and you got to tune in and see it. It's the electrical parade in the sky, the drone version of the Main Street Electrical Parade. It is one of the coolest things. I say in episode 2, that might have been the coolest thing I have ever seen. So I don't have the whole show in there, but I have some clips of it near the end. So you got to tune in and see our awesome first impressions of Disneyland Paris.
What are the chances they bring that to the States? I mean, is that something you think they could?
Just be amazing. Dude, it is amazing because there was like 500 drones and like Pete's dragon comes out, or Elliot comes out, and then you got like the caterpillar and it's all in the sky. It's unbelievable with the music going on too, with a little French, which makes it kind of like funny, from coming from the States, but it's so good.
But it's still that like that kind of like 70s, 80s synth kind of
like a synthesizer.
Yeah.
I
love
totally
that synth. I love that. Yeah, that main street
in the
synth.
Sky.
Oh, dude,
so good behind the castle.
Okay, I'm ready, dude.
There's one clip where like they had like the pirate ship going by, and there's like fireworks, like flame, like not flames, but like sparks coming out of it. Like I still don't know how they did that. Do drones like shoot sparks somehow? Because if they do, that had to have been what they were doing.
I don't think that's illegal.
So cool. Maybe in Europe it's different.
I was gonna say maybe in the EU or I don't know.
So that part, if they brought it to the States, wouldn't. But like, dude, I would love to see, and like I know we've seen like Disney Springs do some cool like drone shows, but I would love to see it to this level. Because like I've seen it now. I've seen what they can do like through Disney Springs and especially now at Disneyland Paris. And like, my gosh, man, it would be so cool to see.
All right. So I'll be checking that out. You do too. Again, go over to Must See Adventures on YouTube. While you're there, subscribe and like the video so we can build that channel even more. And you know what? While you're there, share the video so everybody can check it out, all your friends and family. Let's get that channel growing even more. Again, Must See Adventures on YouTube, and check out Scott on the social media at @Scott in all the places. And guess what? I know you're not on TikTok, either am I, but real quick. I mean, this is real, like 30 seconds, dude. TikTok went away last night as we're recording for like 15 hours. Dude, Mallory like flipped out. I don't know if Emily's on TikTok. Did she?
Emily doesn't do TikTok.
No, dude, okay,
so.
But Mallory did.
But some of her friends were there.
And her friend was here, dude. It was crazy.
They did like a school lockdown thing, like with the band. So the band had the whole school from like 8 to midnight, like a lockdown. So they're all just hanging out playing games. And some of her friends were trying to get on last night, and they were like all freaking out. And Emily's like, "No big deal. What? Like, just use Instagram or something instead. Like that's what I do." So.
Mallory was here with one of her cheerleader friends, and they just, it was like their "Where were you when" moment. Like what do we do now? I'm like,
well, I was crying because of the Lions, so I was crying for a different reason.
I was like, just go on Instagram and look at reels, or she's like, they're not as funny. I'm like, well, I don't know, go read a book. I was like, it'll be.
Have her tune in to Must See Adventures.
Exactly. There you go. It's perfect. I was like, I don't know what to tell you, kid. I tried to explain to her, I'm like, something new will come along eventually. I was like, then I went back into the, old dad mode. I said, yeah, remember there was a thing called Facebook. Then before that, there was MySpace, and it just things replaced each other. But anyway, so check out the show this week. We'll have those. We're brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel, standing by to help you plan amazing trips to the Disney destinations: Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, even Adventures by Disney. The best part, no additional cost to you. So swing by the website, check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. I had to buy some new running pants this week, and they're awesome, by the way. They came today. I love them.
Sweet.
Hey, I use the Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Supports the show and keeping my legs nice and warm here in this -3 wind chill in Missouri. Dude,
I'm so jealous. Actually, you're gonna go to Disneyland, but I'm actually gonna be going to Vegas for a work thing. So like, hopefully it's not cold where we're gonna be going in a couple weeks either.
You need to jump out to LA for a couple of days.
I know you're trying to push me. I can't get out of a work thing,
Come
man.
on, man. You're so close. We're so
close.
I'm saying it's got to happen. Anyway, also patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. That's where you can support the show, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. This week's show, we talked about living your best life and a life well lived. We talked about Bob Uecker, the announcer for the Milwaukee Brewers, and how he lived to be 90 years old. And if you look back on his life, he really did kind of make every day the best it could be. I mean, he did it all. He played Major League Baseball. He was an actor in a sitcom. He just enjoyed life, and everybody that he had interactions with, and after his passing this past week, the stories were just always glowing, how great of a person he was. And he seemed to always have a smile, and he was always self-deprecating humor. He enjoyed life every day. And I think that was a lesson that we could all learn from. So that's kind of what Mike in the Midwest is all about. You get those bonus shows when you support us, just $5 a month. And that money goes into the podcast to pay for all this video hosting and all that stuff. It's kind of just a little thank you for supporting the show. So check it out today. Thanks to everybody who does very, very much. It's patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. All right, I'm on the social media as well. Be Our Guest Mike, not on TikTok, but I am on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. And live show next Sunday night. So we'll be here 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. And we'll see you there. All right, time to get out of here. And we'll see you this week on the show. So for Scotty G, I'm Mike here in Missouri. You guys have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.